Hey guys, it's Harriet. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another medal collection video. If you're new here, I am a runner and basically in these videos I show my medals I've collected over the years and a little spiel about the races that I did to get them. This is number 3 and I realized the other day I did the first one 10 years ago in 2015. The second one I posted during the pandemic, so today we are covering kind of post-pandemic to today. So the first race I did post-pandemic was the Auckland half marathon in January 2022. This had actually been postponed from the October in 2021, so it was on a really hot day and this was the medal that I got. I ran the race in just over 2 hours. I was incredibly out of shape for this race, so I was super proud to finish it and get this medal. Not too long after that half marathon was when I signed up to my run club and my run coach, and I was working to get back into marathon shape. I ran the Maunganui half marathon in August 2022. I was in much better shape by this point and I used it as a warm-up run for my marathon in September. This is the medal that I got from that. It is this big silver shiny medal. It actually doesn't say anything on the front of it. I think after COVID they were scared of it being postponed. It does say 2022 on the ribbon. The following month in September 2022, I finally got back to the marathon distance. This was my first marathon since Berlin in 2019, so it was a full 3 years. This is the medal that I got. It was the Sydney Marathon and it is this big gold shiny medal where the middle spins around, which is kind of traditional with the Sydney Marathon medals. I was also super pleased to run a personal best time in Sydney, which at the time was 3 hours 47. So not only did I get back to the marathon and get an incredible medal, but I also got a PB. Following Sydney, I decided to use my marathon fitness for another half marathon, and I returned to the Auckland Marathon in October 2022. So I think it was about 6 weeks after Sydney Marathon. This is the medal I got from that. It is this black circle that has got my finishing time and an eye tab on the back. This was a really fun day out. There was no pressure, and the cool thing was, since I've joined the run club, I had all of the support of the people that I run with on a daily basis. The next race that I did was in January 2023, and this was another half marathon, the Mount Festival half marathon, which is held in January at Mount Maunganui, and I got this teeny tiny little cute medal from it. It has a little pin on it and this blue ribbon. This race I also used as a lead up to my marathons, which were coming a little bit later in the year. The first one of those marathons was Tokyo 2023, which was in March. This medal is incredibly special. I was very lucky to get a place in the ballot unexpectedly, and I have always been obsessed with this pattern that they have on the ribbon. I think it is just beautiful. The medal itself is relatively small compared to some of the other majors, but it says on the front of it Tokyo Marathon 2023, and then it has the date and the course on the back of it. I really love this medal so much, and I know how difficult it is for some people to get into Tokyo, so this one's very special. The following month in April 2023, I actually did another marathon, and this was the London Marathon, which I have been trying to get into for over 10 years, and I finally got to run it. This is the medal here that I got. It is the circle with a hole with the River Thames in the middle of it, and then it also has, I think it must be the date in Braille on the front of it as well. It shows all of the main landmarks that are on the course in a circle around the middle of the medal. Now recently with London Marathon, what they've been doing is using the same medal for 3 years. So in 2022 they used a black version of this. This was in 2023, and in 2024 I think it was like a bronzy version of the same one. So I'm excited to see what they use this year. After a very busy and taxing start to the year in 2023 with my 2 marathons, I decided to focus on the half marathon and getting faster. So in August I went back to Mount Maunganui and I ran the Mount Half Marathon again. This medal looks very familiar. I think they reused them from the year before. It's the same big silver medal, but then on the ribbon this year they did 2023. This was a really fun day out. I went out with my mum, she ran the 10k, I ran the half marathon, and we just had a great time. A couple of weeks later in September 2023 I went across to Sydney to run the Sydney Half Marathon. Now this was actually the last year that this half marathon existed, because Sydney is now a major. They have been focusing on the marathon, but I used to love this half marathon course. It was my favorite one ever. So I went out, I was in really good shape, and I got this medal. I actually ran a PB, 1 hour 36 minutes and 58 seconds. I have the eye tab on the back there, and this is a really cool orange. I don't think I've got anything like it. Just says Sydney Marathon on the ribbon, and it's little, but it's special. I kept concentrating on my half marathons, and in October I ran the Melbourne Half Marathon, again in Australia. This is the medal I got. Around the outside on the front is supposed to be the MCG, which is actually where you finish the race, and then on the back it has some Aboriginal designs, and it has got a spot for your finishing time, which I didn't end up getting. It's kind of unusual for me, but I did run a PB in this. I ran about 1 hour 32. Going into 2024, I was still focusing on my half marathon, and my ultimate goal was to go under 90 minutes. So I went to the Waterfront Half Marathon in Auckland trying to do that. I completely blew up and completely messed up this race, but this is the medal that I got. I think I ran 1 hour 35 or something like that, and I just try not to think about it. But the medal that I got as a result was pretty big, pretty cool. It's got this big thick ribbon, and then it's just black on the other side. In April 2024 I also did my first trail run, which was down in the South Island of New Zealand. This is the Routeburn Classic. It was a 32-kilometer trail run, and it was beautiful. I did it with a bunch of friends. This is the medal that we got here. It is wooden and it says Routeburn Classic on it. It's quite a few layers of wood, and then just blank on the back. So that was a really fun day out. I was not racing at all. I was just there for the experience. It was nice to change it up. After the Routeburn, I was back into marathon training, but I did have a half marathon popped in there. It was kind of put in as a training run. On the morning of it, I felt really good. So I did the Hawke's Bay Half Marathon in May 2024. This is the medal that I got for it. The silver medal with the purple logo in the middle, and this really pretty purple ribbon. It's pretty plain on the back, but it does have the space for your time, which again I didn't get. But I actually ran this race in 1 hour 30 minutes and I think 27 or 37 seconds. So this is my current half marathon PB, and I was very proud to receive this medal. After Hawke's Bay, I carried on my marathon build, and I went and did a race that is probably my proudest, and I love the medal for this so much. This is the Gold Coast Marathon 2024, which was in July. Got this medal for it. It is this beautiful chunky gold medal that on the front of it says 42.195 kilometer finisher 2024, and it has these really cool Aboriginal designs around the outside. There's a really cool story behind the artist that put this medal together. The Aboriginal sort of U's on the outside signify the coming together of people, and when the Aboriginal people sat down on the sand and they would stand up, and that would be the shape that their bottoms made. It is a super thick medal, and the back is also nice and shiny. There's a spot for my time, which again I didn't get. I don't know what I've been doing. This race was particularly special because it is my marathon PB, 3 hours 21, and it's also the race that qualified me to the Boston Marathon this year. After the Gold Coast Marathon, I had a little bit of an off season, but I did go over to Sydney to run the 2024 City to Surf in August. This is the medal that I got for it here. Fun pink medal with blue writing on it. Again, pretty plain on the back. I was really proud as well. I ran this in a course record time of about 1 hour and 2 minutes. I've run this I think 3 times now because I used to live in Sydney. It was so fun to go back there. It's one of my favorite days of the year in Sydney. After my little off season, I was back into the marathon build because at the end of September, I went and ran the Berlin Marathon. This is the medal that I got for it. It is so cool. It was the 50th edition of the marathon. The front, pretty much the same as most Berlin Marathon medals. I also got my name and my time engraved on it. But then the other side of it, which traditionally is a person, they choose a person to go on the medal each year. But because it was the 50th anniversary, they had this cool back to it where it had the 50th logo and then this silver ring on the outside. Medal ribbon is normally the German flag, so it's normally like this all around, but they changed it this year as well for the anniversary. This was a very cool race. I went over with 16 of my run group, so it was a big party and a really cool race for the anniversary. Finally in 2024, after a huge year of 2 back-to-back marathons and a whole heap of half marathons, I entered Auckland's 11-kilometer traverse. This was the first time I've done this race, but I decided I wasn't up for a half marathon. I would do some short, fast stuff, and this is the medal I got for it. The 11-kilometer was green this year. I'm really proud of this one. I actually came 5th in this race, which is the highest I've ever placed, and there were like 2,500 women doing it, so I was very proud to do that well. So that was November 2024, and that was the last race that I have done. It feels as though it has been a very busy few years of running, which you can tell from the fact I've got like 20 medals that I've just shown you, but I'm continuing. I have got 2 marathons coming up, and one of those is going to earn me my 6-star medal. So if you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. I would love it if you hung around, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.